The world's largest construction project, known simply as the Line, has already started to leave its mark on the Arabian desert. Saudi Arabia's billionaire crown prince wants the 170 kilometers long megacity to be visible with the naked eye from space. Satellite images show how the landscape is transforming. Where there was once sand and rock, you can make out deep trenches, thousands of trucks and excavators, and entire new towns. Workers and their families are already promoting their new lives here on social media. But satellite pictures also show us villages that have been wiped from the map. New is being built on Saudi blood, and the controversial project appears to be struggling, with media reports of cancelled contracts, scaled-back construction, and spiraling costs. Plans to welcome the first residents to the Line back in 2024 never materialized. So, is building what architects told us is essentially a giant greenhouse in one of the hottest and driest places on Earth really a good idea? We're talking about some of the hottest temperatures ever recorded in this part of the world. We analyzed the very latest satellite views from above and spoke to experts.
Would I want to live in the Line?
No, I absolutely wouldn't. To find out if Saudi Arabia's desert dream stands a chance of being anything more than just a mirage. Mohammed bin Salman's dream city, the Line, is the brainchild of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS for short. In 2023, he told the Discovery Channel that he will build his extraordinary megacity against all odds. They say a lot of projects that happen in Saudi Arabia can't be done. This is very ambitious. He continued, they can't keep saying that and we can't keep proving them. The multi-billionaire prince is no stranger to lavish spending and futuristic construction projects. It's all part of his Vision 2030 plan to diversify Saudi's economy away from fossil fuels and into sports, entertainment, technology, and luxury island and ski resort tourism. In fact, this whole region, dubbed Neom in 2017, is going to be home to an array of fantastical projects like Sayala, a once barren island just off the coast that has already been transformed into a luxury beach destination with hotels, a golf course, beach club, and marina. And work has started in the mountains on what MBS hopes will one day be a desert ski resort called Trojena. And here the clock is ticking. The resort needs to be ready by 2029 when it will host the Asian Winter Games. The mountains don't get much rain and even less snow, so it will need to rely almost entirely on the artificial kind. Of course, MBS already has his own palace complex in Neom with private beaches, lush green gardens, a golf course, and 10 helipads. Construction on the Line began in October 2021. What we can see on satellite imagery today is a giant scar cutting inland from the Red Sea, through the mountains, and out the other side. But beyond the epic earthworks, there's little sign of the megacity presented in glossy promotional videos. Just think, a skyscraper city that runs uninterrupted for 170 kilometers, that's the distance between Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. or Naples to Rome. So the Line is designed to be a city like no other city that's ever been built.
Thinks the lines are building?
It's not. It's a frame. It's a city, and it has a framework and a grid structure to it. The glass-clad monster is also supposed to be 500 m high and 200 m wide. To give you an idea of what a mirrored glass wall in the desert might look like, take a look at this, the Moriah concert venue built by the Saudis in 2019. This is the largest mirrored building in the world, for now, but it is only 3 stories, or 26.6 m high. If built, the Line will be one of the top 10 tallest buildings in the world, and by far the longest. Animations produced by Neom promise suspended gardens, waterfalls cascading down buildings, and all your daily needs within a 5-minute walk. A high-speed train is planned to take citizens from one end to the other in just 20 minutes. There are even flying taxis. In fact, prototypes recently took to the air at this facility just 4 kilometers from the Line. One consultant who worked on the mega-project that the city is designed with a wealthy minority in mind. Yet the Line promises to eventually house 9 million people within a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. That's more than 5 times the population of Manhattan in just over half the space. And according to Neom, this is what Manhattan would look like if it was squashed into the same footprint as the Line. It might seem crazy, but urban planners say we do need to rethink how cities grow. In the last 75 years, city populations have rapidly expanded. More than half the world, 4.4 billion people, now live in cities, and the UN predicts it will be nearly 7 billion by 2050. But this expansion is not sustainable. Look at the rapid growth of Las Vegas in this time lapse of NASA satellite imagery, or Lagos, Nigeria, over a period of 40 years. And Paris has expanded 200 times in size since 1800, even though its population today is only 22 times bigger. The team at Neom believe that cities need a reset. The cities are falling into the trap of the traffic jams, the pollution, a social disconnect. If humanity is not ambitious in this present moment, when are we going to be ambitious? The line is designed as a solution to both urban sprawl and population explosion. As MBS told the Discovery Channel in 2023, the population going to jump in Saudi Arabia from today 33 million, in 2030 something between 50 to 55 million. That's raised a very important question, that we need to create new cities. Supporters of the line have praised MBS for being bold and innovative. The energy within Saudi Arabia at the moment is incredible. I think Neom is, the pinnacle of that change, and it's really exciting to be part of that. The greatest architects and environmentalists were visionary. They pushed the boundaries. We need to build globally, why would you do a line? For thousands of years, we've mostly built cities that have dense, walkable centers expanding outwards over time in a circle. Walkable interaction is the basis of cities. Businesses happen, historically and now, where you get easy interaction between people. And if a city the size of the line were instead built in a circle, more people would be in walking distance of each other. And what many people love about city living is the buzz of unpredictability. London, New York, Bangkok, they are big, they are messy, and you find all these fascinating places. The thing with the line, it lacks imagination, actually, at the level of experience. Shape aside, will anyone actually want to live in an enclosed linear city in the desert? There's no precedent, a city where millions of people live in a building and may not go outside. Something like the line would be a massive social, psychological experiment. This is not the first grand plan for a linear city, but history shows us that they rarely make it off the drawing board. Toward the end of the 19th century, urban planner Arturo Soria proposed a 55 kilometers long central tram line in Madrid with houses on either side. But only around 5 kilometers were ever built, and it's now absorbed into the sprawl of Madrid. Around 30 years later, Edgar Chambliss designed Road Town, a linear city with a monorail below ground and a walkway at the top. In the 1960s, two Princeton University professors devised the Jersey Corridor, a 32 kilometers linear city featuring two parallel buildings running between New Brunswick and Trenton. They hoped the city could one day stretch from Boston to Washington, D.C. But neither of these American dreams ever made it to brick and mortar. Perhaps the closest example we have to something like the line is Corviale, a 1 kilometer long social housing block in Rome for 8,000 people. Never fully completed, it fell on hard times, and this is what it looks like today. It seems MBS is undeterred by history. According to the Wall Street Journal, when urban planners suggested alternative designs, the Crown Prince brushed them aside. Megaprojects and megacities have always included a desire by a government to portray power, equity, or some form of ideology to a national or global audience. But there is evidence that MBS's ambition may be stalling. Satellite images from May 2023 show earthworks in full swing across the length of the line. Almost a year later, Bloomberg reported that the line was being scaled back and workers dismissed. Recent satellite imagery does appear to show less activity on the ground. The focus for now is a section of the line called the Hidden Marina, where residents will be able to sail under the city and then straight out to sea. Neom executives call it the largest excavation project in the world, moving over 90 million cubic meters of material. But it is now understood that only this 2.4 kilometers section of the line is expected to be built by 2030 instead of the full 170 kilometers. It wouldn't be the first Saudi mega project to hit the brakes. Ambitious plans to build the world's tallest building, the Burj Jeddah, have been on hold since 2018 following a number of arrests of senior figures involved in the project as part of an anti-corruption crackdown. Construction on the 1-kilometer-high structure only restarted in January 2025. While Saudi authorities claim it was always the plan to build the line in modules, others suspect funding challenges. Over the last year, reports by experts have indicated that the country might be starting to feel some strain of the financial pressure of the project, with some plans scaled back. Oil prices and resulting revenues have also been lower in the last year or so. Saudi Arabia also hoped foreign investment would prop up a lot of the spiraling costs, but experts have said that this may not have reached the kingdom's desired levels. Analysts estimate that it could cost more than $2 trillion to build the full line, 4 times the original budget. But already, progress on the line has come at a human cost. This region has been home to the Huwaitat tribe for centuries, a Bedouin people known for their horse-riding skills. Satellite photographs from 2020 show the Huwaitat villages of Al-Qarayba and Gail, located close to the path of the line. But in these images from 2024, they're gone. In January 2020, residents of these villages were served eviction notices. They protested on social media, posting videos with the hashtag #Huwaitat against displacement. Human rights group ALQST has been monitoring the evictions closely and says the majority of the 20,000 Huwaitat tribe members have been displaced. Many videos show that security forces were violent with the locals to force them out, and many people fled their houses. But not everyone fled. Abdul Rahim, a government employee at the Ministry of Finance, decided to take a stand. According to ALQST, on April 13, he was shot and killed by Saudi special forces. Saudi authorities claimed that he fired first and labeled him a terrorist. There is no evidence whatsoever of him shooting first. Since Mohammed bin Salman came to power, everyone that is deemed or seen as a potential threat or a dissident will be charged under terrorism charges, and all trials are held behind closed doors. The question is, why this lack of transparency? So anyone who mourned him online was arrested. ALQST says 47 tribe members have been arrested, including many of Abdul Rahim's relatives. They say 3 have received severe prison sentences, and 3 others are sentenced to death. Reports of intimidation and inhumane evictions have not gone unnoticed. The UN sent an open letter to the Saudi government concerned about the harsh treatment of the Huwaitat, including reports of torture. Campaign groups like ALQST have applied pressure to international companies contracted by Neom. Most are staying put, not UK-based Solar Water, which pulled out of a contract to build a solar-powered desalination plant in 2022. The founder and chief technology officer told us he was appalled by the treatment of the Huwaitat. You cannot move people away from their homeland. I was very upset. All the villages, fishing villages along the coast, they're no longer there. Human rights groups and trade unions have also drawn attention to thousands of cases of exploitation of workers on Saudi megaprojects, including Neom. A documentary by ITV reports that as many as 21,000 migrant workers from Nepal, Bangladesh, and India may have died in Saudi since the launch of the 2030 vision in 2016. If Saudi Arabia's pledge to uphold human rights as part of this vision is under scrutiny, so too are its promises of sustainability. The world's number 2 oil-producing country has pledged to generate half its energy with renewables by 2030. But in 2023, it was still less than 1%.